thank you all for coming and participating in this peaceful demonstration. I'd like to thank the organizers of today's event for doing this and for inviting me. In 2019, we began a community discussion about equity, diversity, and inclusion. Those conversations resulted in firsthand stories from youth and from adults in our community who illustrated the challenges of living in Silverton.
Get on the mic, Kyle.
Many of us were shocked at hearing similar accounts to the ones that were courageously shared today. I'm not a person of color. I'm a white person of privilege who has lived in this community since birth and has watched 53 years as very little has changed for people who don't look like me. Yes, I noticed that a black family moved to Silverton when I was young, and the mother of at least one young child worked alongside my mother at what was then Continental Telephone Company just down the street. That family moved away from Silverton after 1 week here. I still remember it because it was meaningful for me, and I really didn't understand, but I tucked it away in the same place that I kept everything else that was uncomfortable to think about. Sorry, I'm not making eye contact. I'm trying to be at the microphone here. Hiding from what is uncomfortable, though, is part of the problem. I've always been proud that I've never had a fleeting thought of discrimination. I've always considered myself blind to the concept that any one person is any different than any other person. That blindness, however, is part of the problem. Well, I've never been guilty of exclusion or promoting inequity myself. I know that I've not done enough throughout my life to ensure that it doesn't exist around me. In the last year, I spent a lot of time thinking about what can be done and how best to enact meaningful change in our community. I'm proud that our city and our school district now have equity policies in place and have made that a priority. There's still work to be done. I'm proud that our police department released a statement earlier this week condemning the actions that resulted in George Floyd's death, and that they're here in support of this peaceful demonstration. These are great developments, but they aren't enough. Our community and society in general must recognize that racism and discrimination is learned. Our community and society in general must embrace that we're all responsible to provide the allyship that our fellow citizens who are at risk need, no matter the reason they're at risk. Our community and society in general must demand that George Floyd is the last senseless death that happens on our watch. The world is no longer mine. No longer belongs to most of you either. It belongs. The world now belongs to the generation that planned this event. The generation that's already had the courage to tell us what they faced in their short lives already and why they won't stand for it any longer. The world is complicated. It's messy. The democracy and freedoms enjoyed in our country provide that almost any way of thinking is legal without regard to it being moral or right. We can't rely on government to legislate thought. This is a fight that each of us has to take on individually, but it's a fight that we can only win together. For those of you who are here, share what you've heard. Spread the message these young adults have delivered. Let the flame that's been sparked here today be just the beginning for equity in Silverton. What we achieve in Silverton can help shape the world beyond us. Something has been accomplished today, but it isn't enough. It won't ever be enough until every single person in our community and beyond can live without fear and experience opportunity in the same way I can. Let's help these young people make that happen and let's help them make it happen peacefully and permanently, once and for all. Thank you. I want to remember this for a long time.